A very good morning to all of you. After revising what we have learned so far, in this lecture, I shall talk about uh, Chatterjee's views related to the spiritual domain or the inner domain of national culture. He refers to the domain of print capitalism, that is, language and literatures. Then the field of education, he talked about how the curriculum was developed as per the local needs, the needs of the Indian people. Especially with reference to Bengal, he highlights all these issues. Then he talks about the national culture in the context of the family. So you know it very well that how Indians have great respect for family as an institution. So there is an assertion of autonomy. Autonomy means you might be knowing independence and difference. Both these things was perhaps the most dramatic in this particular inner domain of national culture, family. So Indians take pride in stating that our family system is better than the European one, the Western one. So the European criticism of Indian tradition, you might be knowing many of the Britishers, especially to defend themselves, thought that Indians are barbaric. Indian traditions are barbaric. Okay, so they this was the criticism. They described our culture, our tradition as barbaric. Barbaric means uncivilized. So they had a very negative opinion about Indian civilization, and they thought that God has sent them to reform Indians, to bring change, to civilize Indians. Okay, that is their perception. That is their way of looking at the things. So they actually said that Indian people are highly barbaric and they are just childish as well. Okay, that was the perception. So they described us as barbaric. Barbaric is a very negative term. And their criticism of Indian tradition as barbaric had focused to a large extent on religious beliefs and practices, a caste system, etc. And even the religious beliefs and practices related to the treatment of women. So that is how they criticized. Means women were not treated well in Indian traditions. That is their perception. Okay, they were kept outside the domain of what we call decision making and all. Women were what you call subordinate, treated as subordinates. They were tortured. You might be knowing that. So even today, women are tortured, and any culture is not actually responsible for it. It is timeless, I think. In every society, women is treated as subordinate. The time is changing, hope so, it changes. The early phase of social reform, you might be knowing, Rajaram Mohan Roy and others, took place through the agency of the colonial power. Means they thought that the British government should bring changes. So it had also concentrated on the same issues. For example, they talked about sati system. They talked about widows, the exploitation of widows. They were not allowed to remarry. Then child marriages. So they focused on all this. In that early phase, we understand that this area had been identified as essential to Indian tradition. Means they said they referred to means treatment given to women was considered to be Indian tradition. And when we talk about the second phase, the nationalist move, Means the social reform phase was the first phase, the early phase, and it was highly influenced by the British or Western ideology. But when the nationalist move began, it began by disputing the choice of agency. Means the early reformers like, as I mentioned earlier, Rajaram Mohan Roy, Devendra Tagore, etc. Nationalists were not prepared to allow the colonial stage to legislate the reform of traditional society. Many of the social reformers of the early phase, especially Rajaram Mohan Roy, as I mentioned, every now and then I'm talking about Rajaram Mohan Roy because he belongs to the early phase of social reform. And he favored British government actually, is not in terms of what you call anti-national perception, but he thought that Western ideologies, Western thinking can bring changes in Indian society. Therefore, he preferred, he thought that he requested the colonial agency to intervene in this traditional matter. Okay, so we have to understand that. He brought so many social reforms, but with the help of the British colonial rule. But when the nationalist movement started, for example, Tilak era, we can say, Tilak was there and he was a very aggressive leader. So he did not allow the colonial state to pass bills or bring acts. Legislate means to bring the acts, to pass bills, to reform the traditional society. They asserted that only the nation itself could have the right to intervene. That is a family matter. Means outsiders should not intervene. It was the stand of the nationalists. Okay. You might know it means they started talking about Swarajya and all. Tilak is well known for Swarajya movement. So these leaders asserted that the nation itself could have the right to intervene in such an essential aspect of its cultural identity. The outsiders, colonial state does not have any right. So the domain of the family and the position of women underwent considerable change in the world of the nationalist middle class movement. So nationalist movement, favored the middle class ideology. As a result, this particular ideology related to family and the position of women in Indian society underwent considerable change because of the nationalist ideology. And it was, of course, a kind of new patriarchy. Again, it wasn't male dominated as such, but still man was at the center. Patriarchy means the system in which man is at the center. Purush Sattak, we say. It was a kind of new patriarchy only that was brought into existence, which was different from the traditional order. Okay, but still we have to understand, as although the new system, the new patriarchy was different from the traditional one, they claim that it is different from the Western family. So the new woman favored by these nationalists, middle class ideology, was to be modern, but she would also have to display the signs of national tradition. Means see the combination of modernity and tradition. Therefore, she would be different from Western women. So that is what we think about womanhood. But whatever our ideas of womanhood are there today, they were being shaped during the colonial period. Means you can understand, means a woman was allowed to go for western kind of uh, what you call lifestyle and all, but at the same time she was expected to be uh, following Indian traditions. So that is a kind of controversy that we can see here. Kind of contradiction, I can say, not controversy. So the history of nationalism as a political movement tends to focus primarily on its contest with the colonial power in the domain of the outside. That we need to understand. Means they did not allow the colonial state, the colonial power to intervene in the inner domain. So, what we understand through the discussion is that nationalism in India and other Asian or African countries became a kind of political movement, and its primary focus was to fight against the colonial power, not in the spiritual domain, in the domain of the outside. That is the material domain of the state. Therefore, Partha Chatterjee, thinks that you cannot directly bring the Western ideology, the idea of nation states from European and American context to apply to the Indian context. So, this is a different history from the one he has outlined so far. It is also a kind of history in which nationalism has no option but to choose its forms from the gallery of models offered by European and American nation states. Yes, of course. Now, for example, we talk about Indian Constitution. All of us are very much aware of the fact that Indian Constitution is a combination of different the constitutions of different nations like Britain, Canada, America, etc. North America, the USA. I mean to say, means different constitutions have been studied by our members of the constitutional body, Ghatna Samiti we call, and they then brought the constitution which is suitable to the Indian context. But models were used. Means before that as well, same kind of ideology persisted. Means although the models were taken from European and American nation state, difference is not a viable criterion in the domain of the material. A possible criterion means the difference can be seen in the domain of the spiritual, in the inner domain. In the outside domain or in the domain of the material, you can see that we have borrowed our ideology, our what you call model from these particular nation states. Okay, in the next part of our discussion, we shall be talking about outer domain, how nationalism began in the outer domain.